Live, live, live. Yes, live. Web streaming at its finest and or its coarsest. Yep. As I'm fond of saying, keeping the tradition of cable TV alive and well, which means you get to see a lot of on-screen adjustments and technical glitches and various failures. But you know, it's kind of the charm of it. That's sort of what adds to the mystique of doing this sort of thing here on the internet. Yes, error messages. We got all kinds of stuff going on here behind the scenes that you guys can't see. And that's what it means when you're here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. on the dreaded Facebook for Tent Talks Tunes. Yes, in spite of just about every odd possible, and I do mean odd, I'm usually able to bring it to you right here, right now, live on the internets for your viewing and interacting pleasure. You guys have heard me advertise, not advertise, let's scratch that word, bitch, gripe, moan, whinge, complain, and just generally grumble about my software program, Mevo. Mevo offers a better quality camera than your average webcam, but the software is continually glitching. It is continually fudging up. It's a mess. And I learned a long time ago to try to do a sort of test run using Mevo at a minimum of a half hour before going live for Tent Talks Tunes. And that has paid off many times in the past, and it paid off today because I tried to go live to do a little dry run at about 6:30, and sure enough, Mevo wasn't working. I got an error message saying there was a bug in the system. Please try later. What's that supposed to mean? Please try later, like in 10 minutes, in 5 years? Who knows? So, you know, I had to sort of scramble around and dig out my old webcam and come to you guys, and I see Mike Lesser is tuned in, and that means everything is good because you people can see me, you can hear me, and it is really happening. But just to make doubly sure, I'm going to do the opposite of what I usually do. I'm going to break out my trusty telephone and look at it and use it as a monitor to make sure that the live signal is indeed going through and that it looks okay, and you know, minimum of glitches and all that, blah 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 blah, yak 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 yak. And once I've done that, all right, there we go. Mike is here, Gary Forney is here. All right, if we have people represented in such far-flung locations as Iowa and British Columbia, we must be going out. It must be happening, and therefore all must be well. So let's get right down to it, guys, shall we? Let's not waste any more time with complaints about technology. First thing we're going to do is check the bulletin board. The bulletin board's got all kinds of exciting stuff tacked on it. Per from Sweden is tuned in. Now you know we're getting out there. Per says it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Sweden. Per, what's the deal, man? Are you a night owl? Do you work the late shift? Or are you like me and you're just like a plain old nocturnal guy who doesn't like to wake up early or go to bed early? As far as I'm concerned, late to bed, late to rise makes a rock and roller healthy. Not too sure about wealthy. We're working on that. And maybe a bit of a wise guy. But what can I say? 38 years and counting, right? Per, retired. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. That's a pretty good gig to be retired. One could say that I retired back in 1986, but I've been working triple shifts every day since I retired from the workaday world and punching the time clock. Now I punch my own time clock, and it operates 24 hours a day. Gary wants to know if I'm okay. I look blurry. I don't feel blurry. I feel all right. But you know, it's one of the modern, newfangled cameras. Back in the old days, a camera would make you look like you were 10, 15 pounds heavier. Now a camera makes you look like you're about to die. But I assure you, I have no plans to keel over at anytime in the foreseeable future. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm robust, feeling good. Oh, Mike Lesser retired too. Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know. I just love what I do. The thing is, I'm a happy workaholic. I love my work. I always like to quote Lou Reed. Lou Reed said, "Work is my yoga. It empties me out." And I thought that was like the best way of putting it I could ever think of. Hey, my brother-in-law Justin is tuned in. Say hello to Justin, everybody. What's up, brother-in-law? How you doing? Good to see you here. Hope you like what I see. I hope I'm not too blurry for you. So yeah, we got blurry me. We got the blurry bulletin board. Let's see what's going on in this big, bad, wild, woolly world of ours. Well, according to the bulletin board, I have a brand new release on my fabulous label, of course, TPOS, also represented on the bulletin board. I've talked about it before, I'll talk about it again. Yes, the book, My Misadventures with Gigi Alin. The book is out. Literally years in the making. Years. I'm not joking, guys. Years in the making. It is finally out. It's been out for a couple of weeks. It's been selling very well, and I want to thank everybody who has purchased one, whether through eBay or directly from me, or from, of all platforms, can you imagine, Amazon? Yes, there's an Amazon edition of the book, hardcover, softcover, and Kindle. So for people like Per who are in places like Sweden, you can order it from your local Amazon. If you want to get the numbered and potentially signed edition, you got to go through me. So that's the way it is. You save a bundle on shipping overseas with Amazon, but you get the signed, if you want, and numbered, no matter what edition, direct from moi. So please feel free to reach out and contact me. We have John Bridges, the mystery man, saying right there in an unsolicited testimony that the book is great. I learned a long time ago, another one of those lessons I learned a long time ago, don't argue with King James Jr. Don't do it. Just don't. You're going to lose. If he says the book is great, the book is great. I'm just the guy who published it and edited it. What can I tell you? But yeah, I really enjoyed editing this book. It was a real fun, hands-on process. Because I don't know about you guys, and anybody can chime in and let me know what you think about this. I've read many, many rock and roll biographies and autobiographies. I've also read about 1,000,000 other books on many, many, many wide and varied subjects. But consistently, rock and roll books, especially the autobiographies, are amongst the most poorly written, badly edited bodies of work I've ever rolled my eyes across. I just can't believe how many rock and roll bios and autobios go out without the benefit of good editing. It's incredible. I mean, we're talking about bad grammar, bad punctuation, misspellings, terrible sentence structure, non-existent paragraph structure. I mean, it really makes you appreciate the old saying, pretty smart for a rocker. You know what I mean? I know what you mean, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I've read so many of those books and just wished I could take the editor's pen to it. And I finally had my chance with the manuscript for the My Adventures with Gigi Allen book. Because Len Colby, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, he turned in the finished manuscript and died very soon afterwards, very unexpectedly and very shockingly. I mean, no one expected this poor guy to check out. You know, the manuscript he submitted was great, but it needed that editing work in order to look good on the printed page. And that's the fine line that an editor walks. You have to make it look good on the printed page and read well, but at the same time, keep the narrator's voice. Not put words into his mouth, not change the feel or the tone, but just make it look good on the page. And that was my job. And I'm very happy with the way it came out. And John Bridges, for one, also is very happy with the way it came out. So thank you. Thank you, one and all. If you haven't jumped on the bandwagon and bought one yet, now's your chance. Amazon, eBay, or direct from me. What else is going on here on the bulletin board? Well, this is an upcoming event, which I'm very excited about. I've been in the almighty anti-scene now for a little bit over 6 years. And even after all this time, I still get a thrill and a chill, and I almost take a spill when the thought of being a full-time, full contributing creative member crosses my mind. And here we have an upcoming release that I was indeed a full contributing musical member to, and it certainly floats my boat. The Anti-Scene Time Machine, a 12-inch maxi single with not one, not two, not three, but 4 hit songs on it, all from the golden days of yore. Yes, that is Donna Summer. Yes, we do a song by Donna Summer. We also do the Sex Pistols. We do Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. And we do Sonny and Cher. And even I will have to admit that when Anti-Scene's president for life, the unimpeachable president for life, Jeff Clayton, pitched the idea of doing a record with artists this disparate on it, I had a little bit trouble seeing the concept, because I was thinking, well, what does Donna Summer have to do with the Sex Pistols? What do the Sex Pistols have to do with Sonny and Cher? What does Sonny and Cher have to do with Frank Zappa? Like I could only hear the original versions of these songs in my mind. And all great, obviously, but how do they relate to each other? Well, by the time we got done with them, those songs related to each other, and you all just about forgot about who did them originally. So I'm extremely excited for the imminent release of the 4-song, 12-inch Anti-Scene Time Machine. And I think when you hear it, you'll be excited too. September 19th and September 20th, the Rule Breakers Ball in Spartanburg, South Carolina. 2 nights of pure bad guy professional wrestling inspired mayhem, featuring Taped Fist, Future Hate, Knowledge is for Fools, Before I Hang, Rancid Vat, and that's just the first night. Second night, Blue Ridge Death Cult, Wrath of Typhon, Self-Made Monsters, Josephus and the George Jonestown Massacre, and wouldn't you know it, the boys from Brutalsville, I can say it right, the boys from Brutalsville themselves, Anti-Scene. So if that ain't worth traveling to Spartanburg for, basically nothing is. So book your planes, book your trains, fill your automobiles with gasolina, get the hotel booked, and we're going to have a dynamite weekend, September 19th and 20th at the Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Yes. That's the bulletin board. I got a couple of items in the mail. I recently had the pleasure of corresponding with my old pal Justin Melkman from the big old town of New York City. Justin, a long time ago, published not 1, but 2 comic books about his obsession with G.G. Allin and why he is no longer obsessed by G.G. Allin. And I hadn't spoken to him in quite a while, just, because of circumstance. But we reconnected because he bought the book, and he very kindly sent me his 2 comics. These are really great. They're not so much about G.G. Allin as they are about his personal journey through life and how the music and attitude of Mr. G.G. Allin related to his various stages of growth and development. It's a really, really cool story. It's a definite 2-parter for sure. And I know Justin is on the dreaded Facebook, and I think he's got a website. Let's take a look what the comic book says. How do you find them? On Bandcamp, because of his fabulous punk rock band, World War 9. That's IX, as in the Roman numeral 9. World War IX on Bandcamp. You can find them there. You can also write to Justin Melkman, J. Melkman, I'm going to get it right, jmelkmancomics@gmail.com, and see if you want to scare yourselves up a really good pair of reads about growing up, getting older, getting wiser, and having a certain soundtrack for the entire journey. Very cool stuff. He also does cover art for records. Done by hand, hand-drawn, the real deal. Not AI, not CG, pen and paper. Makes me love it even more. Zaddy Siwa has tuned in and said he's got the first one and a couple others of his comics. Right on. So you know it's good. You know what I'm talking about. This next item, it's not something I got in the mail, but it's something I picked up, and I've been meaning to show this to you guys for the longest time ever. And it's just kept going further and further to the back of the burner. That burner, of course, being the back burner. I've got so many burners that I have items on the back of the back burner. And I also, yet another thing I learned a long time ago is to not wave objects too closely to the webcam lens. Otherwise, we'll get this horrible clicking noise for about 5 minutes. We don't want that. Murray Gelman from Tucson, Arizona. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe you do. As you guys know, I travel all over the country. If I'm not touring with Anti-Scene, I do my own solo acoustic touring. I play shows with Ultra Bunny. I commute to Danbury twice a year for the record show. And wherever I go, I like to visit the record stores in the towns I'm in at the moment. I do a lot of buying and selling and trading and, horse dealing, whatever it is. I just love picking up stuff in the bins at record stores. And I came across this. I was at a really cool record shop called, I think it was called Back to the Media. I think that's the name of it. It was in Winchester, Virginia. As far as I know, the only record store in Winchester, Virginia. Back to Media, I think it was. And it was a really bizarre cassette, and I hope you guys can see this, because I'll reiterate, I don't want to get too close to the camera, because it'll start to autofocus and make this really stupid, annoying clicking noise. This is a cassette, and it's one of those, to put it politely, gray area cassettes from some exotic, bizarre, overseas land. You can tell right there, I'm sure you can see it's the Sound So Nice, not Sound Sonics, but Sound So Nice compact cassette. And it's Elvis Presley, but the title of it is Stakey of Rock and Roll. Stakey, S-T-A-K-Y. Elvis Presley, Stakey of Rock and Roll. Says it on the front. Says it on the spine. So it's not a typo. It's definitely Elvis, the Stakey of Rock and Roll. Does anybody know what a Stakey is? What's a Stakey? Spell it again. S-T-A-K-Y. Stakey. Elvis, the Stakey of Rock and Roll. I don't even know what language that is, because there's no markings whatsoever as to the country of origin on this thing. But, it's just your kind of regular generic 30-song compilation, best of Elvis. But in whatever exotic foreign land this was released, he was the Stakey of rock and roll. So, I don't know. Maybe he was a well-done steaky. Maybe he was quite tenderized. Maybe he was parboiled, charred, medium rare, steaky of rock and roll. If anybody out there knows what a steaky is, or what country that title originates from, please leave a comment. That's whether you're watching here live on Facebook on a Wednesday, or watching sometime in the indeterminate future on my YouTube channel, where all episodes of Tent Talks Tunes are archived. As Mark Farner once said, I just gotta know. All right, guys. You asked for it, and now you got it. A good old-fashioned record sale. Yes, indeedy do. I got so many dang records. So many. So many. And yes, I love having them around the house. Yes, I love walking to the bathroom every, I don't know, 14 minutes because of this gallon of hickory tap I drink every day. And browsing through the records on my way to the bathroom and browsing through the records on my way from the bathroom. But at the end of the day, they take up a lot of room. And there's really only so much room in my home, but there's infinite room for expansion in my bank account. And since this is how I make my living, I might as well try to reduce some of the glut of vinyl I got in my home and fill up some of the vast empty space I have in my bank account. And what better way to do it than by selling some records? Because people have commented, y'all have said, you're always showing us records and always telling us that they're not for sale. Well, what about the ones that are for sale? Fair question. I got a short stack right here of ones that are for sale. And of course, as with everything I sell, we'll say the vast majority of what I sell, I like it. I like it personally. And quite often there's a story behind it. So I'm going to start right now with a record. I've talked about this one before, but this is a record that I absolutely love. This goes back to the pivotal year of 1978. 1978 was a great year of discovery for me musically. That was the year that I fully discovered and heard punk rock for the first time. That was the year that I heard and purchased the first Devo album for the first time. It was also the year that I was introduced to a little guy named David Bowie because of an NBC special on rock music. And they showed a clip of David Bowie in his Ziggy Stardust phase singing the song Ziggy Stardust. And he had the rooster hair and the mascara and the eyeliner and no eyebrows and the weird costume. So right away, like I was 13, 14 years old at the time, living in the suburbs of South Florida, a very sheltered life, and seeing this very bizarre apparition was something else. But then hearing his voice, like seeing this guy, this skinny, pale, frail-looking slip of a man with no eyebrows. You'd expect his voice to be kind of like this. He'd maybe squeak and chirp a little bit and go twit, 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 or beep, 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 beep. But no. He stepped up to the mic and was, Ziggy played guitar, jiving good that we were voodoo. I mean, man, this guy could sing. He had a voice. So right away, I'm drawn in. And then dear old dad, who was watching with me, made some remark along the lines of, oh, isn't that some kind of a faggot or something? So right off the bat, I knew that anybody who could get that much parental disapproval that quickly was doing the right thing and was onto something, and I had to check it out. So fast forward to that weekend when we took our weekly trip to the Westland Mall in Hialeah, Florida. And I immediately zoomed over to the record store, Specs Music, and started looking up who this guy was. His name was David Bowie. And I went to the David Bowie section, and it turns out there was a brand new Bowie album that had just come out. This one right here, Stage. Not only that, it was a double live LP. Now, my first exposure to rock and roll was Grand Funk Live Album, which was a double live LP. So from that moment onward, my yardstick for excitement and hearing the best version of a band was on the double live LP. There were a few times I was let down. Jethro Tull, for example. Their double live LP did not cut it. Not even close. Graham Parker and the Rumor. Nope. Double live LP. Not very good. Not very exciting. Kansas. It was okay, but it wasn't just the wall-to-wall raw slab of excitement that the best double live LPs are. However, David Bowie's Stage, wouldn't you know it? Side 1, nothing but songs off of Ziggy Stardust. Side 1, track 2, the song itself, Ziggy Stardust, and yes, there was that voice, that magnificent, deep, resonant voice. He didn't look the way he did on TV, but he sure sounded awesome. And I didn't know anything about him or his band, but as I've learned over the years, this is when he had the perfect fusion of Philadelphia soul musicians and avant-garde New York City weirdos and the violin player from Hawkwind. And they fit together seamlessly. It's beautiful. This is one heck of a hell of a record. I have actually a couple of copies for sale. Original 1978 pressing. Original. It's got the classic 70s black RCA logo. Double album. Vinyl in pretty dang close to mint condition. Cover. Strong VG+. You can see it's a gatefold. That's the outside, that's the inside. It even still has some of the original give. It's never been completely opened and folded flat. It's still got the bend on it. So this is a darn good record in beautiful condition. $20 plus shipping, and it can be yours. If you want it, message me. I am here and ready to receive. That's number 1. Number 2, another pivotal record. I've talked about this one before. A life changer, an eye-opener. When I first discovered the phenomenon of the independent music store in the year 1981 in South Florida, it was Open Books and Records. The first ever mom and pop record shop I ever set foot in. And you've heard the story many times of the path that I was set upon once I discovered Open. But I might have been a while, but I should mention that Open Books and Records was also a label, in addition to being the coolest record store on the face of the planet. And they released this really great comp called The Land That Time Forgot. And this dates back to, I believe, 1980. Tom Littleton says he'll take the Bowie record. Tom Littleton, you got it. If anybody else wants one, I'm pretty sure I got a spare for you. Also in mint condition and great cover. But Tom, right off the bat, you got the Bowie. We'll talk after I sign off. The Land That Time Forgot. It's 1981, I definitely want to say, which was peak new wave. A great, great year. Oh, 1982. 1982, still not bad. But having discovered mom and pop record shops and the concept of an independent record label, that was the second independent record label I ever knew. The first one was the one run by the Eat to release their classic punk rock records. But Open record label, they did Charlie Pickett, they did the Bobs, and they did this comp right here. Now this is the best of what there was at the time in 1982 Florida. Florida, especially South Florida, 1982, even more of a cultural wasteland than it is now. And that says a lot. That says an awful lot. But they were somehow able to scrape together an entire LP's worth of local bands, and the majority of them are really, really good. We got Charlie Pickett and the Eggs. We got The Eat. We got the Bobs. We got the Rubber Thongs. We got F, the Essentials, Larry Joe Miller and his Rockets, whether it's rhythm or rockabilly, depending on the day, it's rhythm on here. The Spanish Dogs, the Vulgar Boatmen, A New Personality, The Front, I mean, basically every single band on here kills. And the one thing I never knew, one of my favorite bands on this album from Tampa, A New Personality, they eventually, by a long circuitous path, morphed into a group called the Beechwood Sparks, who put out one of my all-time favorite, how would you call it, like mournful country albums ever, called Once We Were Trees. It came out on Sub Pop, which in turn was produced by my pal from Danbury, Connecticut, a guy named Tom Monahan, who was in the most excellent band Monsterland. So who can even guess how the web of interconnections comes together? A record that I bought in 1981 featuring a band who later morphed into one that I really loved, produced by a friend of mine. Pretty cool. Anyway, you got rock and roll, rockabilly, swamp rock, blues rock, synth rock, a smattering of punk rock, and it's all here. I have this album. This copy is open. Haha, no pun intended. But I also have factory sealed copies. An open mint condition copy of this record, $10. Factory sealed, $15. Either way you want it, I can get it to you. Moose says that he wants it. Moose, my main man from Bristol, Tennessee, and a darn good recording artist in his own right. Salute to Moose. You want it, you can get it. All you got to do is tell me whether you want it open or sealed. Anybody else who wants one, let me know. I can hook you up. It's my job and my joy to hook you people up, because you need good music as much as I need good music. Ah, my pal Miss Jill from Loaf from Newtown, Connecticut. You guys probably saw me sporting my Loaf t-shirt a couple of weeks ago here on Tent Talks Tunes. Miss Jill says that she is filled with regret after leaving the Space Moon Electronic 78s behind at the Danbury Record Show. Well, Jill, you don't have to be filled with regret. I'm the king of mail order. Just talk to me. We can work it out. Just like Paul Lennon said. Yeah. And Joe McCarthy, you know, Lennon and McCarthy from the Beatles. We can work it out. All right, John Bridges says that he wants an open copy of The Land That Time Forgot. I can do it. I have, I'm pretty sure, 2 open copies and a number of sealed copies. So you guys tell me, and we'll make it happen. Miss Jill says that she is officially claiming that album. All right. We're in business. Talk to me after I sign off, Jill, and I'll talk to you. Let's talk about some other exciting records that helped warp my brain when I was even younger than you people out there. On the exact opposite spectrum of independent labels, we got the corporate major labels. But for one brief shining moment, around the year 1981, one of the most major labels of all, Warner Brothers Records, put out this, I hate to say it, but stupendous double LP. See, there's your double again. Double LP of punk rock and new wave bands who were on their label. And it was just that one slight window of opportunity when the majors really gave a shot at making dough off of punk rock and new wave. And this was one of those albums that Warner Brothers used to put out. They were called the Lost Leaders. You'd send $2 in the mail to Warner Brothers, and they would send you one of these double LP Lost Leaders with the hopes that you would like what you heard and buy more records by the artists contained on it. And every other Lost Leader in the series features pretty much who you would expect to see on a Warner Brothers Lost Leader record. Like who was signed? Joni Mitchell, Fleetwood Mac, Arlo Guthrie, you know, cool stuff, semi-cool stuff like Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, some early Bowie stuff, just a whole mixed bag. But this one, all punk rock, all new wave, and it included some tracks that were either previously unreleased elsewhere or very hard to find in the States. Because a lot of great music was coming out in England and Europe, but not released in the States. Double album, gatefold sleeve, photos of all the bands on it. Let me read you some of these names. Who's on this record? Well, you got Brian Briggs, who I've never heard of before. You got the Buggles. You got John Cale in a song that I'm pretty sure does not appear anywhere else, like at all, anywhere ever. Devo. You knew Devo was going to come up at some point. But this features the original Warner's version of Social Fools, which for the longest time was the only place you could find. You could only find it on this record forever and ever and ever. Marianne Faithfull, Gang of Four, Robin Lane and the Chartbusters, another very obscure song by Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, Nico, Public Image Limited, the Sex Pistols themselves featuring a live version of Anarchy in the UK. Same deal, not available in the States for the longest time. Wire, and several others. Double album, cool, killer stuff. New wave to the max. Punk rock as an honorable mention. Rare tracks, oozing out your pores. As always with what I sell, the vinyl is in super fine condition. And the cover ain't too bad either. $20. And it could be yours. I must let everybody know in the interest of fair play that prices do not include shipping. Shipping is extra. Just got to let you know. $20 plus shipping. I have one in my personal collection. Now you could have one in your personal collection too. All you got to do is jump on it before your competition out there. Oh yeah. Got to be ruthless. Got to get them elbows out. Got to snake in there and push your competition aside if you want the record. Or simply be the first to leave a comment saying you want it. That's all. It's so easy. Now, I've talked ad infinitum about how I'm a Florida boy originally. But I spent 38 years in the great state of Connecticut. Yes, indeedy do. Connecticut was very good to me. And I enjoyed my time there. I discovered and got to consort with so many great bands in Connecticut, including, depending on my mood, either the very best or the second very best. I'm going to say, just in terms of pure, pissed off, no frills, dare I say hardcore punk rock, the best. And that is the Pist. From Waterbury, Connecticut, the Brass City, the Pist. Started out in the early to mid 90s. Still going to this very day. They got a brand new album out. As a matter of fact, they still play, they still tour, they still kick ass. What you got here, Input Equals Output, volumes 1 and 2. It's a count them, 2 record collection of their various single tracks, comp tracks, I guess you could say B-sides, a couple of real rarities, 2 vinyl-only exclusives, live recordings, all from the years 1993 to 1996. This band kicks ass. There's pretty much not one single bad track on any of these albums. And here they are. I got both volumes. Each one is essential. These are also brand new. These are brand new, unplayed distro copies I got directly from the band themselves. Brand new, never touched by human hands except on the outside cover, and you need them. $12 each, plus shipping, takes them. 12 for this one, 12 for that one. And if you want me to suggest a volume that I like in particular, I'll be happy to do so. It's going to be difficult because each one of these is loaded up with classics. I mean, which one is this? Album number 2, Anti-Human, Bubblegum Bullshit, Sedate, Small Town, Black and Blue Collar, Slogans, Sedate. Wait, did I say Sedate? 2 versions of Sedate. Mutual, live version. Can't Tell No One by Negative Approach. Right off of there, 8 Stone Cold classics. Album 1. What's album got? We're the Pist. Hallelujah. For Every Action. Mutual again. Threat. Warning Shot. I Hate Music. Great version of the Circle Jerks Paid Vacation. Oh my God, this one also has 8 Stone Cold classics. We might have to flip a coin, guys. We just might have to flip a coin. $12 each plus shipping. If you want to rage around the house while you're cooking breakfast tomorrow, the Pist are your soundtrack. Love those guys. Here's another one. Oh man, speaking of the hits just keep coming. This next album rules. It rules hard. For some strange reason, I don't think it's held in as high regard as some of their other albums. But man, how are you going to argue with X? More Fun in the New World. Their 4th album came out in, I think, 82, 83. You'll see that I've been consistently a year off on these things. But look, X, More Fun in the New World. How many classics do you want on this one? The New World, True Love, Make the Music Go Bang, Breathless, I Must Not Think Bad Thoughts, Devil Doll, Drunk in My Past, and True Love Part 2. You know what? We did it again. 8 classics on one album. And that's just my opinion. Produced by Ray Manzarek. Cover art by Exene. This is Stone Cold original. Dare I say it again? Original pressing on Elektra Records. It's got the original inner sleeve. Note the crispy, fine, fresh condition that it's in. Check out that original Elektra label. You can see the vinyl, it gleams. This vinyl is as close to mint condition as anybody could want, hope, or pray for. It looks unplayed to me. Man, awesome condition. Complete package. 100% original. You might ask, well, how much? Well, I was hoping you would, because I want to tell you that you can own this gem of a jam. $25 plus shipping. Well worth it. I don't think you can even get the reissue for that little. I'll bet you the reissue costs more or as much. Just saying. Original. Yeah, it's got that little ding in the front cover, but you know what? If you don't hold it up to light, you ain't gonna see it. 25, guys. If you want it, talk to me. Earl says he will trade his Mike Denied set list for it. Nice try, but denied. All right, here's one. I got nothing against classic rock. I'm okay with classic rock. It's like any genre of music. Classic rock is okay when it's done right. And this band right here, The Who, were occasionally known to do it right. And I think they did it very well on this album, Odds and Sods. A collection of outtakes and leftovers that came out in 1974, I think it was. Hey, 74, I got that one right. And, you know, that's kind of seems like sort of a raggedy pedigree, but man, this thing's just chock full of great tunes. First of all, you open up with Postcard, one of the greatest John Entwistle compositions ever for The Who. You've got Put the Money Down, which is a classic. You've got Little Billy, a song that they cut as part of an anti-tobacco campaign. Great tune. Too Much of Anything from Pete Townshend's soul-searching period. Glow Girl, man, one of my absolute favorite Who songs of all time. Glow Girl closes off side 1 of this record. Pure and Easy opens up side 2. The original I'm the Face from 1964. Naked Eye, and of course the anthem Long Live Rock. This is a copy that is not cut. This record spent a lot of time in the cutout bins, and this copy is not cut. You'll see all 4 corners are intact. There are no slices, no cuts. Slight bit of a ding on that one, but they ain't a cut. Not only that, it's got the extremely complex and one could even say convoluted packaging designed by Roger Daltrey himself. Yes, it's a regular sleeve, but it's also got, you can see this, a die cut front in the shape of these rips and a special insert that's glued to the inside that you can't take out. You have to look inside of it to see a really astounding live concert shot of The Who. Why they did that, I don't know. But that's the way it is. Plus a black and white insert, plus a poster, which is oddly enough the same as the piece that's glued to the inside of the sleeve. Why? I don't know. Vinyl, once again. Original Track Records, a label that's been out of business for a long time. U.S. pressing. As always, the vinyl is in minty fresh condition. Original track, original MCA inner sleeve, original poster, original insert with lyrics, original die cut cover, not a cutout or a remainder. How much? How much? $10. $10. Because I do believe that good music should be affordable. $10. Original Who Odds and Sods, one of my favorite Who albums. If you want it, all you gotta do is comment. What could possibly follow that? Well, how about this? We're going to talk about another one of the absolute underrated classic rock bands. I've given these guys some airtime here on Tent Talks Tunes. I'm talking about the Turtles and what ended up being their final album, Turtle Soup, produced by Ray Davies, the only album he ever produced outside of the Kinks. Tom Littleton wants the Who record. Thank you, Tom. You got it. If anybody else wants one of them Who records, it's quite conceivable that I have a second copy. So don't shy away. Let me know if you want it. Tom's got that one for sure. I might have another one for you. Maybe. Produced by Ray Davies, who did exquisite orchestrations for this album. I mean, beautiful, beautiful string work. Includes probably my single favorite, in fact, it is my single favorite, beyond any doubt, song by the Turtles, and one of my favorite songs of all time by anybody, anywhere. Side 2, track 1, it's called Love in the City. Magnificent, magnificent song. This version is the reissue on Rhino, which features the original mix that never was commercially released. The mix that was released featured Ray Davies' orchestrations way down in the mix, emphasizing the guitars, bass, and drums more. This has the orchestrations up front where they were meant to be, and it really is a whole different listening experience. Great album. Yep, it's a cut. What can I tell you? But, as with everything else I'm talking about today, original Rhino, once again, stony, beautiful, mint condition vinyl. It's beautiful. You could eat off of it, although I wouldn't want you to. great, unknown, and underappreciated album by a great, underappreciated band, the Turtles. Turtle Soup. How much? $10. $10. Cheap, 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 cheap. I'm shocked at myself for letting these things go so cheap. I must be out of my mind. Take advantage of me while you can. All right. I've consumed my fair share of bubblegum in my day. Oh, yes, I have. I've had a lot of dang bubblegum in my day. Not in many years. This album, John Bridges says he'll take the Turtle Soup. Smart man, John. I knew you had exquisite taste. I knew it. You just proved it. I'm glad to see you getting that, because here's the pedigree that was in my personal collection for the longest time. Now it's going to be in yours. Rex. Look at that pretty boy. Rex who, you might ask? Rex Smith. That's who. Well, you could certainly roll your eyes and shrug your shoulders and grit your teeth at the very mention of Rex Smith. You know, if you're of a certain generation, you know what I'm talking about. But you could have knocked me over with a pea shooter the first time that I heard this album, because I'll play almost anything just out of curiosity. You know, anything that even remotely looks interesting. And quite often, if it's by somebody who I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like, I'll give it a listen. Because you never know. And in this case, I never knew. This is a kick-ass glam album. I was expecting total fluffy, lightweight, teeny bop, you know, the host of Solid Gold bullshit. But dude, this album rocks. I can't say that it consistently rocks hard from start to finish, but it's got some gems on here. Some real glam-inspired gems. They even look a little bit glammy there, don't they? They certainly look no worse than the Bay City Rollers. And the Bay City Rollers also could rock. Mike Lesser says that Rex Smith is a Jacksonville boy. Didn't know that. Had no idea this is a Floridian right here. Did you know also that Rex is the brother of... God, and this is going to drive me crazy because my former bandmate, Mad Brother Ward, came over for a visit the other night. And we had a dude's night in, listening to Kiss records, listening to that very Bowie record, and talking about Rex. And Rex is the brother of a guy who is in either, and he told me, and I forgot, it's either Angel or Starz. Starz with a Z. Pretty sure it's Starz. Another great, underrated hard rock band from the mid-'70s. They had that one-hit single called Cherry Baby, which is just so damn good. But their catalog is also littered with hard rock diamonds like that. So Rex Smith, and I'm pretty sure it's the guy from Angel, the singer from Angel, both brothers. I'm sorry, Starz. Somebody help me. Help an old record dealer. Was it Angel or was it Starz with the other Smith? Anyway, I'm on the verge of rambling here. So I'm going to gather my thoughts and gather my wits. If you want a really cool, semi-lost, semi-glam, semi-classic, here's the first album by Rex, $5. $5 plus shipping. I guarantee you it's worth at least $5 in listening pleasure. Why do I feel the need to sell this one? Because I already got one in my personal collection. It's a double. It's a dupe. I recommend that you don't be a dupe and throw down the fin for this Rex record. If you like that glam stuff, and if you understand the fact that the Bay City Rollers really did rock when they were allowed to, you'll dig Rex. $5. And he's from Jacksonville. Who would have thought? Whew, I'm running out of time, guys. But I'm not running out of records. I got 3 more for you. They're all related to each other. This is another band going back to the pivotal year of 1981, which, God, so much came out in 1981. And I know technically we're talking about late 1980 for one of these, but let's just round it up to 1981. 1981 was the year of the Plasmatics. Michael Lee Smith, thank you, from Starz, right? Starz, not Angel, Starz. Michael Lee Smith, brother of Rex Smith. Yes, what a double threat pair of siblings. Yes. 1981, Plasmatics. We saw them on Fridays. We saw them on the Tom Snyder Show. We saw them on Solid Gold. We saw them on Night Flight. And then they just kind of shot their wad and disappeared forever. But man, for that one glimmer of time, the Plasmatics absolutely had what it needed, what was needed. Yes. Oh boy. Let's see. John Bridges says Starz. Yes, they had a 12-inch single called Pist Party. Long, long, long after they had the hits, but they released that record. Oh boy. Whew. Plasmatics. We saw them on TV. They kind of said what they had to say and sort of faded away, but they left a lasting impression, and that impression is saved on vinyl. The absolute stone cold classic, New Hope for the Wretched, their debut album. The very worthy third, not full-length album, but third 12-inch single release. All right, fourth, you want to get technical. Metal Priestess, a 6-song EP featuring 4 brand new ones and 2 live versions of old favorites. And this LP of their extremely raw, crude, early singles on the Vice Squad label. I got that. I got this. I got this. These are all reissues, but they're all factory sealed. They're brand new. If you want to keep your archival copies and listen to these, $20 each plus shipping. That's $20 each plus shipping, and they can be yours. Brand new, factory sealed, never played. Plasmatics records, because people need Plasmatics records. Of course, I already have all of these in my personal collection. That's why I'm getting rid of the new ones. Ooh, excuse me. I think I got a piece of whatever heavy pollen there seems to be in North Carolina 24 hours a day in my eye. Wow. Okay, like Johnny Nash, I can see clearly now. So there we go, guys. Sealed Plasmatics records, $20 a throw, plus shipping. Starz, X, The Pist, Turtle's been spoken for. I might have extras of the David Bowie stage, and I might have extras of the Who odds and sods. So if y'all want any of those, please let me know. Conversely, if there's anything else you want that I didn't talk about, I got a lot. I got a lot of dang records. A lot of records. And the only thing that's at least as much fun as collecting them and keeping them is selling them to people with good taste who appreciate good stuff. Like all of you guys. It ain't flattery if it's true. I will heist my jug of hickory tap and drink to all of you, my frantic fans, loyal listeners, vivacious viewers, and pusillanimous pals. Cheers. I'm going to sign off. But not before I remind you all, because it's my job to do so. The G.G. Allin book is out and available from Amazon and eBay and little old me. Rule Breakers Ball, September 19th and 20th, Spartanburg, South Carolina. The Anti-Scene Time Machine, soon to be hot off the presses. And in my opinion, well worth the wait, because it rules. And I think that's about it. Except, of course, for anybody who can tell me what a Stakey is and why on earth Elvis is the Stakey of rock and roll. Somebody's got to have an answer for that one. Who knows? Anyway, it is, as always, my job and my joy to hang out with you guys and serve you the good cultural stuff. I do fully intend to be back in about 167 hours' time. So until we meet again, this is Malcolm Tent saying so long from the Tar Heel State.